Hello again, YouTube land. Today is Friday, and that means an attempt at a regular posting. Doesn't always happen, and I'm pretty sure I already posted twice this week because I had a lot to say. So, today's topic is going to be voluntary idiocy and the consequences you can never bitch about again. Voluntary idiocy is kind of like, well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there are elements of willful blindness, willful negligence, um, idiocy in general, doing those stupid things that are really almost universally societally condemned as being bad moves, bad judgment. The reason I bring up the topic today is a close to home thing. My husband was part of a group in his college, and like many people who are part of a club or a group in college, they like to keep in touch. They like to know what's going on. It's not a fraternity, it's not a sorority kind of a thing. It's, a student organized club. So every so often they have these get-togethers, they have Thirsty Thursdays, they have holiday parties. Well, yesterday was the Valentine's party. Now, for reasons I won't get into, I'm no longer spending significant periods of time there with or without my husband. And we did. When we were still dating, I did spend the better part of a couple years helping at this club, spending time at this club. A lot of friendships were formed in this club. But that's, in my case, no longer the case. Well, these gatherings are gatherings at a college. Oh God, and there's my husband on the phone now. Oh, this should be good. Let's see here. Hi, honey. You're on your way home. You're not due to leave work for 2 hours. Okay, you're still not feeling good, huh? Did you eat lunch? Okay, well, I mean, when you get home, I guess I'll make you some soup or something and see if we... Alright. Alright, well... Okay, thank you. I love you too. Bye. Well, that was ironic timing. That was my husband. He's leaving work early, even though he got there late today. I usually wouldn't answer a cell phone in the middle of a podcast, but that was particularly relevant. So this was a party at a club in college. There are certain assumptions that can be made. That there'll be music, probably too loud. That there'll be liquor, probably too much. That there will be fraternizing among many people. And no, I'm not saying that the voluntary idiocy in this case is that my husband was fraternizing with other people. That's not it. In this case, the issue is he had a couple of drinks while he was there. Now, my husband and I are in our late 20s. That he drank is not the issue. What he drank and how much he drank is where voluntary idiocy comes in. Because the last several times he's been to gatherings at this club, it's been the same routine. He goes after work. Usually these events are on Thursdays. He has work Friday. I assume logic, common sense dictate if you're going to drink, don't have so much. And most importantly, make sure you eat dinner because you're not coming straight home. I'm not making you a meal before you go to this party. You have to be sure you feed yourself, especially if you know you're going to have something to drink. And the routine plays out the same. It's a rehearsal script, basically. He goes, he has something to drink, too much of it because he doesn't like mixed drinks, so he just has the drink, which is honestly even worse in most situations where hard liquor is involved. So by the time he comes home, and I've done this, I'm sure you've done this, anybody who socializes, drinks, or especially has gone to college has done this at some point. You go to a gathering, you know you're going to drink, you don't handle it right, you have way more than you planned on having, you come home and you pay. You suffer for your stupidity. And what are some of the things that all of us have said at one point or another on a Saturday or Sunday morning, where we groggily rub at our face to make sure we're honestly not dreaming some horrific nightmare, and we start grumbling and half crying and moaning to ourselves, "Oh my God, I need coffee. Why did I do that?" Okay, we've all been there. We've all been there. Some of us more than others. So that was the night I had last night. Now, I'm not complaining about taking care of my husband. If my husband isn't feeling well, I'm going to take care of him, because when I'm not feeling well, he takes care of me. That's part of the deal. If you're in a committed long-term relationship, especially a marriage, you take care of each other. Even if it's because of your own idiocy that you're feeling like crap. So that was fun. The particular phrase that comes out of my husband when he's inebriated, though, is, "Why is this legal?" Which I love. I mean, in vino veritasa. That is beautiful demonstration of the Italian proverb, "In wine there is truth." All he can think to repeatedly ask is, why is drinking legal? Why is this legal? Not, why did I do this to myself? He knows he did it. Not, why did I have that much? Because he knows there's no good answer. It becomes a blanket statement, hi Tribble, about why the substance itself is socially and legally possible to obtain. I love that. That's one of the best drunk questions I've ever heard. Ever. I can't even, there's no way to really express how much, I mean, he paid for it. Don't get me wrong. He was this morning, okay? But I love that question. I love it. Now, I'm going to follow that up with a relatively brief story about an experience in my past. I was not the drunk in this story. I was drunk, but I was not the... Back in my younger days, before turning 21, I was allowed to stay home and have a couple of drinks with a friend of mine who was a year older than me, still not 21. I'm not going to say which parent allowed it, and I'm not going to say how under 21 we were, but I will tell you it was not by much. So my friend, whose nickname was Casper because she was pale as a sheet, she was just, I mean, she always said, "I'm that Irish. I'm where all the white went," which, you know, I'll give her is funny. It was for New Year's, so we stayed in, and we did one of those normal kind of drinking things where we were playing a card game, and if you lost, you did a shot. We had a bottle of Absolute Citron. And not like, you know, the bottle, I mean like the bowl of Absolute Citron left over from another gathering with other friends. And she took about 4 rounds before she realized that she had a single shot glass. Now that's relevant because in our house, in my house, there was a collection of shot glasses accumulated in the various ways you accumulate shot glasses. She had a single shot glass. I had a double. For a long time, I've known I have the tolerance of a very respectable fish. Well, after about 4 rounds, she's figured it out. Unfortunately, when you're big, she doesn't hold her liquor as well. There isn't enough of her to metabolize the same amount, the same way, at the same speed. That's just basic biology. So she decides she's going to catch up to me. Now, I had already put the bottle away. As soon as I heard her start going off about the fact that I had had twice as much and that wasn't fair, I put the bottle away, okay? Because, 4 rounds of double shots, I did not need any more. I knew my limit. I was already in my own house, not 30 feet from my own bed. I wasn't going to push my luck. Well, she decides to get up, stagger, stumble into the kitchen, doesn't even turn on the light, pulls open the fridge, grabs a bottle out, opens it up the whole time. I'm going to catch up to you. That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to have twice as much as me. And she drinks straight from the bottle. Twice. Oy. Drunk as I am at that point, I know a mess is coming my way. Okay? I know. And I'm like, Casper, would you please just don't do that? You're going to have problems. Don't do that. She takes the second swig, puts it away, stumbles into the bedroom. Now, in my bedroom, I had a futon, which I had futons for years. They were better for my back at that point. But I had my own room because I grew up an only child. I had, a computer desk, an old Windows desktop. But I had turned everything off for the night. We were in. We weren't going anywhere. This one decides to sit down at my computer. I'm going to check my email. How come it's not working? Why isn't it turning on, Blair? Drunk as I was, I'm like, Blair? Why are you calling me Blair? And then it occurs to me, we were fans of a TV show called The Sentinel, starring a guy named Garrett Maggart and Richard Burgi, I think were the 2 main characters. And it was on UPN. It was a sci-fi show. If you've ever heard of it, great. If you haven't, look it up. It was an interesting show if you like metaphysical. And it occurs to me that's what she's doing. The problem is she looks like Blair. Big hair, the whole hippie thing going on. Oh, sorry. And, she keeps slamming at my computer, and I'm like, honey, the power strip is off. You're not able to check your email. There's no power. Keeps slamming away at the keyboards. Really? I need to check my email, though. I'm expecting an email. From who? You're unemployed and you have no friends besides me and one other person. Go to bed. I'm laying in the bed at this point. I'm like, just come to bed. Just fall down on the futon and go to sleep. You're pissing me off. The next thing I remember is waking up. We fell asleep probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I wake up early. I always have. I wake up at 6 in the morning. I go and make breakfast and a fresh pot of coffee, and I come traipsing into the bedroom, flip the overhead light on. Good morning, Starshine! I'm not hungover in the slightest. For reasons I don't understand about my own biology, I don't black out. I don't really get hungover. I mean, I suffer if I have too much the next morning, for sure. I have a headache, I'm kind of dizzy and lightheaded, but I drown my body in water and probably 6 or 8 ibuprofen because I still have high tolerances for that too. Well, I flicked that light on. You would have thought I let a banshee loose in that bedroom. Help! What the hell are you doing? I'm bringing you breakfast and coffee. Don't you appreciate it? She's cowering into her arms, which are, twig thin. She's a tiny little thing. And for years I tortured her with it, because she blacked it out and couldn't remember. So that's my own personal tale about why you should be very, very careful about how much you drink and about who you drink around. And ask yourself this the next time you're drunk. Why is it legal